guys, welcome back. So today I am going to be reading outside in lovely, lovely nature. And I'm going to be reading my new book, K-Pop Crush. I've never read this before and I'm very excited. I love the Wish books. I already read this one, Sit, Stay, Love. I think y'all should check that one out. And also Donut Go Breaking My Heart. I just finished that one today, actually. It's really good. So you guys should go check out those books. They're good books if you like reading. And I'm obsessed with reading. So I'm going to read the back, this part. Don't get burned. Alicia Ramirez has always loved baking. Her family owns Say It With Flour, the small bakery in town. And Allie's specialties are cake pops, delicious confections on a stick. But Allie's sweet life turns sour when a sleek coffee shop opens across the street, giving her bakery a run for its money. The owner's son, Dane McGurry, is Allie's age. He loves to bake too. Plus, he's annoyingly cute. When Dane and Allie engage in a bake-off, will Allie be able to rise to the occasion, or will her crush get in the way? So, obviously, this sounds like a really good book for me because these are the kinds of books I like. Like baking, food, and boys. That is what I like. That is what I like. Cars. Yeah, let's read in nature. Read in nature. Okay. I'm gonna do my next one. Place up. Cake Pop Crush by Susan Nelson. I love Susan Nelson. Chapter 1. Oh. I knew I shouldn't be awake. My eyes opened onto a gleaming moon and stars outside my window. I had that topsy-turvy feeling of being out of sync with time. The clock said 4:30 a.m. I shut my eyes and tucked deeper into my covers, but it was no use. My stomach pinched uncomfortably. School was starting again after a 2-week winter break, and my nerves knew it. There was only one cure for that: baking. In my pajamas, I tiptoed out of my bedroom and down to the shadowy hallway. My dad left half an hour ago to go to work for a family bakery. Say It With Flour. Sorry, this chair is uncomfortable. I knew he would be hovering over me with his running commentary. Alyssa, you're shifting the flour too quickly, or don't beat the eggs to death. My 5-year-old brother, Roberto, was still sleeping, and I could hear Abuela Rosa snoring happily and loudly away in her bedroom, so I had the kitchen all to myself. I carefully laid out all of my measuring cups and spoons on the counter. Then I got my mixing bowls ready. Everything had to be in place before I could start, so there'd be no missteps or surprises. Surprise is the easiest way to ruin perfect baking. Open an oven door too soon and the cake falls. Drop a cold egg into a hot butter and it falls. This wind is getting on my nerves. I've never liked surprises. When I was satisfied that everything ready, I turned down the oven. None of my friends could ever get away with using stovetops and ovens alone, but I've been baking with my parents since before I could walk, so my dad had given me free reign in our kitchen long ago. My abuela loves to tell stories about how when I was a newborn, I had colk. Apparently, that means I cried for hours at a time for no reason at all. Go figure. My mom even made this sling for me that she told me to close my eyes while she baked. I still cried constantly till the morning. Mom put a small shaker of cinnamon in my hand. She was baking papatoria. I'm sorry if I was saying that wrong. A kind of Mexican bread pudding. She'd been trying to get the recipe right for weeks, but it wasn't working. I started shaking the cinnamon like a rattle. Pretty soon I was sprinkled all over the bread. Abuela said I fell asleep in that sling, clutching the cinnamon in my tiny little fingers. First in Mount Canoa finally came out perfect, all because of me. Every day after that, my mom gave me a spice dough while she baked, and Abuela swears that I always knew when to add just right dash of every treat. Maybe that was the start of it all, or maybe it was just every treat. Maybe that was the start of it all, or maybe it was just a story that Abuela had made up. It didn't really matter because like other kids were born for math or arts or sports, I was born to bake. To me, there was nothing better in the world than a hot oven and a rack full of possibilities. Spice rack full of possibilities. I love baking, so I can relate. I grabbed my tattered recipe book, flipped on the small TV on our kitchen counter, and I scrolled through the DVR listings until I came to my favorite show, The Baking Guru. I pressed play and then smiled as Renta DeLuca's especially beautiful face flashed to the screen. I DVR her show every day on the Food Network, and I keep a running log of her recipe in my notebook. Renta's claim to fame is chocolate buttermilk cake with ginger icing topped with an almond shavings, and it has a secret ingredient too, and it's the only recipe she won't share on her show. Legend has it that she made the cake for president once, and afterward he placed enough orders for that cake to last his entire lifetime. Did I believe it? Yes. Did I? Because every single Renta DeLuca recipe I've ever made was amazing. Well, fellow bakers, she said now, I hope you're all enjoying a bright, sunshiny day. Not yet, I glanced out the window at the still dark sky. Well, even if it's not sunny, where you are, it'll be after we make our lemon sunrise cake pops. She tickled all the ingredients. She ticked all the ingredients, and I started collecting them from the fridge and pantry. She flipped long waves of curls over her shoulder. Once and again, I wished I could get my thick, straight mane of chocolate hair to curl as perfectly as hers. My mom has curly hair, too. In some strange way, watching Renta makes me feel a little close to my mom again. She died when I was 9, and the memories I had of her used to be sharp. That sometimes for a split second I would forget she was gone. But lately some of those memories have gotten cloudier, harder to call up when I want them. This wind is like... One second, I'm trying to find... But I do remember her hair always smelled like chocolate, which is the tiniest hints of roses. As I laid out my ingredients, I thought about school. Sure, it was exciting to see my friends again, but I hated that idea of the unknown assignments and tests laying in wait for me. Once I had them all plotted out on my calendar, I can make a plan for studying right now. All those unknowns were ballowing in my head. But as I listened to Rena's cheery voice, I forgot about all the unknowns. I forgot about everything except the steady weight of the measuring cups in my hands. The second my hand dipped into the bag of pillowy flour, my stomach untipped itself, and by the time Roberto stabbed blurry eye into the kitchen, asked what smelled so good, I was ready I was ready to face my first day back at Oakson Middle School. There's actually 6 weeks left of school currently, and I'm going to be in middle school. I'm scared. When I stepped onto the outdoor quad with my box of 24 lemon surprise cake pops, most of the kids were still standing around in the sunshine catching up with friends and gossip. No one seemed to want to move toward the lockers or classrooms yet. I spotted my best friends, Gwen and Tansy, near the open air amphitheater, waving me over with grins. Allie, Tansy grabbed me in a hug. I missed you. Tansy is always quick with hugs, and she smiles so much that sometimes my mouth actually hurts. Even the tight black curls that frame her face bounce along happily when she moves. I laughed. Tansy, you just saw me at the movies 3 days ago. Tansy shrugged, giving a little giggle. I know, but not all at school. Meanwhile, Gwen, home in the box I was holding. Is that what I think it is? She asked, twirling her slender side braid. The rest of Gwen's hair is honey-colored, but she used lemon juice and good oil California sunshine to lighten the braid to a golden blonde. Then, in classic Gwen fashion, she'd woven tiny Franciscan feathers into the strand. I nodded, smiling over our years of friendship. Tansy and Gwen have developed uncakey cake pop radar, a welcome back present. Just what I needed, Gwen said with a grin. Reinforcements. First day back is such a killer. You know what I always say before I could finish the sentence. Gwen and Tansy did it for me. There's no Chris's cake pop that can solve. There is no crisis a cake pop can't solve, they said in unison and broken giggles. We've only heard it a million times, Gwen said. She tried to grab the box for me. Watch it, chica, I teased. I don't have to share. Okay, I'm sorry, Gwen said, raising her hands in surrender. I'm a slave to you baking. You just have to keep your cheesiness in check sometimes. It's not cheesy, I said, smiling. It's one of life's greatest truths. I opened the box, revealing cake pops I had stuck nearly into foam in the center. 2 dozen pale yellow suns topped with dainty marshmallow daisies. Isn't this kind of early to be eating cake? Tansy asked hesitantly. How many pages till chapter 2? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they're dirty. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. 13. 13. Almost 14. I didn't. Cake pops are a part of balanced nutritionist breakfast, Gwen said. Didn't you get the memo? Tansy picked one up and spun it between her fingers. Oh, Allie, I can't, she said. It's too pretty to eat. Nope, I said, you two are my official taste testers. You can't get out of it. I leaned toward her. Go on, try a bite. That's Daisy head. Right off. You know what? You know you want to. No problem here, Gwen said, biting the whole top of the pop at once. She grinned around, chin up cheeks. Absolutely amazing. Really? Tansy looked uncertainly at the cake pop and took a gentle bite. She closed her eyes. Yummers, she said. What is that? Lemon poppy seed with cream cheese icing. Even if I made a tofu and pad thai pop, Tansy would probably say it was delish. She was just that eager to please. But when Gwen was my truth teller. And then she was already reaching for seconds. Well, that said something. How did you come up with that brilliant combo? Gwen asked between bites. I didn't, I said, somewhat sleepishly. Rena DeLuca made them on our show. Ah, Rita, goddess of baking, we salute you, Gwen bet, and exchanged courtesy toward an image of Rita and nearly knocked into Harris Clark. Oh. Whoa, Gwen. Harris laughed, showing off a bright smile. I know I can kick a mean winning goal, but you don't have to bow, really? Don't worry, it wasn't for your benefit, Gwen said, playing it cool, but her cheeks blushed raspberry. Harris turned his adorable brown eyes in my direction. Hey, Allie, I came over to see if you had any of your awesome cake pops to spare. The guys could use some extra energy for practice later. Now it was my turn to blush. Sure, I said, fumbling with the box lid. Help yourself. As Harris grabbed a handful of cake pops and glanced at Tassie and Gwen, who were both wide-eyed in their mouths, two little donut holes. Harris was the star of Oak Canyon soccer team, and one of the most popular boys in our grade. But he was also the kind of kid who ignored the rules of the school ladder. He was friendly with everybody, and because of that, everybody liked him too. Of course, most of the time when he came our direction, it was in search of food. I didn't mind. Anytime Harris bothered to talk to the three of us, it took hours for our pulses to return to normal. Thanks, Allie, he said, and bit into a pop. Wow, that was really good. I can't believe you just give these away. You should sell them, I smiled, my heart thumping happily. Thanks. I'm working on it. Well, I'll see you guys later, he waved at Tansy and tugged on Gwen's side braid. Hey, Gwen, snatched her bride protectively, but she was smiling. Don't mess with the Gwenless. Harris laughed, and he walked off to rejoin his soccer buddies. They all made mad grabs for the cake pops, and they waved their thanks in my direction while I beamed. He's such a nice guy, Tansy whispered. He's such a cutie, I added. He's such a sucker for anything edible, Gwen quipped. Boys, they're human garbage to Boys, they're human garbage disposals. But she smiled as she rolled her eyes. I was about to rally the girls to head for our lockers when I caught sight of a sleek black limo easing to a stop at the school parking lot. Hey, I nudged them. What's that all about? Gwen said, her eyes moving. Maybe Sarah forgot her backpack at the Royal Palace, and Daddy brought it for her. Sarah Chen was the mayor's only daughter and the girl in the school who had a house so big it was called Shane Manor. No joke, last year Sarah had single-handedly drove half of the 7th grade girls in an all-white wardrobe trend that had lasted months. Then when she got tired of the lack of color, she started wearing crimson orchard tucked behind her ears, and guess what? Days later, when Sarah walked through the school hallways, a red of sea orchard wearing mimics parted before her. That sounds about right. Sounds like Mean Girls 2. I don't think so, Tansy whispered, nodding toward where Sarah was sitting with her friends. Their table was under the only tree in the entire quad, the coolest, shadiest spot here. Even in January, Southern California, it could hit the mid-70s, so shade was always a plus. And on the blistering hot days of early fall and late spring, Sarah's was the table everyone wanted but couldn't have. Look, Tansy added, she's staring too. It's so cold out here. I'm talking about how it's being warm, and I want warmth. Go ahead and wrap this. Look, Tansy added. She's staring, too. Sure enough, Sarah's perfect crescent eyebrows were arched in surprise, and she had her hand cupped over her mouth, whispering to Lindsay and Jane. The three of them made up gray turmeric at Oak Canyon. I didn't totally dislike Sarah. Actually, embarrassing as it was to admit, I was a little in a wave of her. Still, it was fun seeing her caught off guard by the limo, too. We all watched as Principal Davidson came standing out of the school, followed closely by Vice Principal Wilton and Miss Hung's, the school secretary. Wow, Gwen muttered. A red carpet welcome by Oak Canyon standards. I can practically see Dalton sweating from here. Maybe it's a celebrity, Tansy said in a hushed squeal. Maybe it's the celebrity, Tansy said in a harsh squeal. Tansy always dreamed big. She was the optimist of our group. We could have a movie star attending our school. Tansy, we live in Oak Canyon, not Beverly Hills. Gwen gave Tansy a good natural narrated eye roll. We're too far off the 405 for celebs. The limo door opened and a middle-aged man in a suit stepped to the sunshine with a cell phone pressed to his ear. The man shook hands with the school staff, but he did quickly and absently. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, I lost my spot. At the open car door a few times, and then frowning, snapped at his phone suit and stuck his head back into the car. A full minute went by before he straightened and stepped out of the way to let a boy our age climb out. The boy's cargo pants and faded blue t-shirt looked out of place next to the man's suit. There wasn't a scowl on his lips, and his face was half hidden by blonde waves of thick hair. None of the celebs been confirmed, but cute enough to be one, Tansy whispered with a grin. Okay, why is it that Peach doesn't want to flip? Why is it that it's all the blonde guys that girls fall for? Like, no. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more pages left. It was true. Even from across the quad, I could see the boy was tall with creamy olive skin. Definitely cute. Very. Principal Dayton extended his hand to the boy, but the boy simply grabbed the class schedule that Miss Hutchins was holding out to him. Then he brushed past the welcoming committee, headed toward the lockers. Cute with a serious attitude, I said. I watched him until he disappeared around the corner of the gymnasium. The man in the suit was already getting back into the limo. Cell phone stuck to his ear again. And if that's his dad, the problem must be generic. Still, though, I thought I'd seen a hint of something else on the boy's face beside anger. He had it behind the tiniest bit of sadness. Maybe he's just having a bad day. Tansy tried. It happens. How everyone who rides to school in a limo could have a bad day is beyond me, Gwen said. The bell rang and the mass of kids in the quad gave an unbearable crowd. Whoa, but soon enough everyone broke into chaos. Shouldering backpacks and drifting down the outer hallways, Gwen and Tansy and I hurried to our lockers and then to our classes. I was sure my case of nerves from this morning was under control, but that was until I walked into my first period science class, because sitting at the desk next to mine that had been empty all year until today was the blonde-haired mystery boy with his arms foiled tightly across his chest and his chin tucked in the collar of his shirt. He looked completely miserable. I dropped into my seat as Mr. Jenkins called the class to order. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, we have a new student this semester. He nodded toward my neighbor. This is Dane McGurry. He just moved here from New Orleans. I know you'll help him give a warm welcome to our school. A few guys muttered uncontrollably. No, not uncontrollably. Hey, uncontrollably, hey, or raised hands in greeting, while most of the girls offered much less suitable eyes and smiles. Hi, Dane mumbled as he gave a nod of acknowledgement, then resumed staring at his desk with a great intensity. All right, Mr. Jenkins continued. Today we'll be starting a... Is this? Okay. New unit on marine biology. Next week is our whale watching field trip. Long Beach, and we have a lot of material to cover beforehand. Mr. Jenkins droned on as I scribbled multiple notes from coloring coding. Later, my fail-safe study Ooh, this is cold. Technique. Dane pulled his chin deeper into his collar. Scribbling was the only contribution he made to class for the rest of the period, and when class ended, he left, taking his frown with him. By the time lunch rolled around, I found my routine again. I was filling my calendar with assignments, due dates, and scheduled exams. The unknown that had loomed over this morning were shrieking, and I was able to enjoy my turkey sandwich. Besides Gwen and Tansy in the sunshine is the sunshiny squad. I'm like so cold right now. Ow. Why my eyes hurt? Near one of the cans for his eating post. Hey, elbowed Gwen, watching Sarah about to make a move. Sarah Chan looped toward Dane, fluttering her lashes. She motioned for him to join her in a shady spot, but he shook his head, his expression never changing. Sarah shrugged good-naturedly as she walked away. But her smile looked a smidge forced now. Check out Mr. Attitude, I said. Gwen nodded. Too good to eat with the commoners or the royals. Maybe not too good, Tansy said. Maybe just not ready. Cake pops? I bet that would make his day. I shook my head, glancing down at the box of cake pops I brought to lunch. I can't just go up and give him one. Totally awkward. My cheeks cooked at the thought The lunch bell rang, and I sighed, thinking I've gotten off the hook. I was wrong. As we were walking toward our lockers, Gwen spotted Dane at his. He was launching books into it, making sure everyone made a loud bang. Here's the plan, Gwen whispered. Leave him one anonymously stick in his locker with a note. No, I shook my head violently, but then Dane slammed his locker shut and walked away. Gwen and Tansy instantly had me by the arms, one pulling me, one pushing me toward his locker. Before I knew what was happening, Gwen grabbed a cake pop out of my pastry box and stuck it firmly into one of the locker vents. I knew it. Much to my horror, I lodged it in there safe and secure. I was about to yank it out, but something stopped me. Maybe Tansy was right. Maybe Dane needed a sign of friendship. Something that said his new school wasn't bad after all. So before I could stop myself, I quickly scrabbled, "Welcome to Oak Canyon," on a slip of paper and wedged it into the vent next to the cake pop. Giggling, my friends and I ran to our lockers. We grabbed our books quickly. Tansy hurried off to math, while Gwen and I walked toward language arts building. Gwen had Spanish period, so I had English. So, Gwen asked when we reached the door to Mitch English class, "Are you going to show Mama surprise pops to your dad?" I shrugged. "What's the point? He won't use them. He never does." "It's worth a try," Gwen said. I come with you to talk to him if you want after school." I laughed. "Gwen, you always come with me after school." Gwen's parents both work in downtown LA, and they usually don't make it home after dark. Gwen's pretty much a permanent fixture in my family. But my dad says sometimes children need extra family, like they need extra toothbrushes, whatever that means. So Gwen hangs out with us almost every afternoon, which is fine by me. She grinned impulsively. "Hey, I'm trying to come up with a legit reason, other than leeching snacks off you and your dad. Play along, please." I latched onto her arm, giving her an extended hug. "Yes, oh please come with me. I desperately need your help, please." "Oh, please, come with me. I desperately need your help, please." She nodded, giving a victorious smile. "Thanks." It's always nice to be appreciated. I laughed. I'll meet you at your locker after seventh. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur. A new project and assignments. Then finally, the first day of the new semester was over. I beat Gwen to the lockers, and while I was splitting over, I was slipping my homework into my book bag. I glanced up to see Dane plucking my cake pop from his locker. I blushed and suddenly feeling completely ridiculous for putting it in there for the first place. He held up the cake pop, inspecting it, and read the note. I waited for a smile to break across his face, but it never came. He spun on his heel, walked right past me, and tossed the cake pop into the whole trash can. He hadn't even taken a single bite. My face went from bake to boil, and suddenly I knew it was going to be impossible for me to become friends with Dane McGree, because sometimes, no matter how hard you try, all the sugar in the world can't sweeten up something gone sour. And that is the end of chapter 1. I guess I will see you guys tomorrow for another book reading. I love you guys, and toodaloo!